All right, today we're going to step away from the usual world of Wall Street, stocks and bonds. We're going to explore a totally different investment universe, one that's tied to the stuff we use and love every single day. The songs we stream, the books we get lost in, and the inventions that really shape our world. So let's just start with a simple question. Imagine this. Every single time a hit song plays on Spotify, you get paid. Just a tiny fraction of a cent, sure, but multiply that by millions and millions of plays. What if you could get a piece of that action? Well, that's the core idea behind what we're talking about today, royalty investing. Most of us, when we think about investing, our minds go straight to the traditional stuff, right? Stocks, bonds, maybe some real estate. But there's this whole other universe of assets out there, creative assets. We're talking about intellectual property that can generate some really consistent cash flows, and believe it or not, they're becoming way more accessible than they've ever been before. Okay, so this all sounds pretty cool in theory, but you're probably wondering, how does it actually work? I mean, how can someone who doesn't have major industry connections get a slice of a famous song or a best-selling book? Let's break it down. First things first, let's get the main term straight, royalties. Put really simply, a royalty is just a payment made to the owner of an asset for the right to use it. The best way to think about it is like rent, but instead of renting a house, you're renting an idea. So what does this journey from a creative idea to your investment portfolio actually look like? Well, it usually starts with a creator, an artist or an inventor who decides to sell a portion of their future rights to get some cash up front. Then a specialized platform comes in and bundles these assets together for investors. And that's where you come in. You can buy a small slice of that bundle. From that point on, anytime that asset makes money, you get your share of the payouts. Simple as that. Okay, this is where things get really interesting. To make this all a bit less abstract, let's dive into 3 very different areas where you can actually invest in royalties right now. We'll kick things off with the one that's probably the most familiar to all of us, music. I mean, from classic rock anthems that your parents love to today's biggest pop hits, artists' catalogs are becoming these really powerful investable assets. The connection here is so direct, it's pretty amazing. Sometimes big artists will sell off partial rights to their music catalog for a lump sum of cash. These specialized platforms then take those rights and break them up into tiny pieces, allowing smaller investors like us to buy in. And that means every time that song gets streamed, used in a movie, or played on the radio, a little piece of that revenue could flow right into your account. Next up, let's turn the page to the world of books. It's a really similar idea, but instead of backing a song, you're putting your money on the lasting power of a great story. Just picture an author who needs some funding to write their next big novel. Well, they might sell a percentage of the future royalties from their existing books to make that happen. So by investing, you get a cut from every single copy sold, hardback, paperback, you name it. You're basically becoming a silent partner in their creative journey. And finally, we've got patents. Now, this one's a little more on the technical side, but it's really cool because you're not just investing in art here. You are investing directly in pure innovation. Brilliant ideas don't always come with deep pockets. An independent inventor might have this game-changing patent, but just doesn't have the cash to actually manufacture it. So by selling a percentage of their future royalties, they get that critical cash infusion. Your investment, then, is a direct bet on that idea hitting it big in the market. Now look, as exciting as all this sounds, let's be real. This is not some guaranteed path to getting rich. Just like any other investment, it comes with its own very unique set of risks and rewards that you absolutely have to understand before jumping in. So let's look at the upside. On the potential side of things, these assets can be an amazing way to diversify your portfolio, mainly because their performance isn't always tied to the ups and downs of the stock market. But the risks, they are just as real. A hit song today could be totally forgotten tomorrow, and that royalty stream just dries up. Tastes change. And the legal world of intellectual property, it can be an absolute minefield. The key is really balancing that appeal of a new income stream with a very clear-eyed view of these risks. But investing in this stuff isn't just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. When you really peel back the financial layer, you start to find something, well, a little more profound. There's a real cultural significance to putting your money behind an idea. And this quote really gets to the heart of it all. You're not just chasing numbers on a screen. You are actively taking part in the creative economy. Your investment might be what helps fund the next great novel, or the soundtrack for a whole generation, or maybe an invention that completely changes an industry. So,
After looking at how it works, the different examples, and even the philosophy behind it all, let's bring it back home. What's the big takeaway for you here?
The next time you're thinking about your financial future, just remember that investing isn't only about backing big companies. It can also be about backing the very ideas that shape our culture. It's a totally different way of thinking about your portfolio, one that's tied directly to the pulse of creativity. So, could backing an idea be your next move? That's definitely something to think about.